Welcome back. This is Tim Thiessen Live, broadcasting from the Tower District in Fresno. Our next guest is Jose Nunez. He's with CalPrime Real Estate. Welcome, Jose.
Thanks, Tim.
And Jose is a real estate broker, and one of his specialties is in HUD homes, HUD, housing and urban development, and there has been a tremendous amount of bad information out from the press, the public, about these HUD home sales. And so, Jose, if you'll just kind of really give us an overview, what is a HUD home? Because now you're starting to see signs HUD home, and it has a tendency that people want to push back. And so just kind of tell us briefly what's involved when it says HUD home for sale.
Well, correct. As you indicated, there is a lot of misconception about what a HUD home is. I've been either selling or listing HUD homes now for the better part of 4 years. And a lot of the misconception is I've gotten a lot of people telling me, oh, isn't a HUD home a government home? I've had agents say, isn't that Section 8 housing? Isn't that low-end housing? HUD home is none of that. A HUD home is simply a 1 to 4 unit single-family residence that has been acquired by the foreclosure process of an FHA loan. And the reason, Tim, that that's important today is because, as we know in the real estate industry, I would say a majority of the homes that have been underwritten here in the Central Valley over the last 3 to 4 years have been FHA loans. So as we move forward here, many of those loans are unfortunately bound to go bad. And when they do, they get picked up because they are FHA insured. Mm-hmm. They will become HUD homes. Just to put it in perspective here, I've had HUD homes here in the past few years in Tarpey Village in Clovis, Buchanan Estates, some of your what people would consider nicer areas of Fresno. Mm-hmm. So again, I just want to dispel the misconception that a HUD home is low-end housing. It could be, HUD homes vary in price, location, condition, appearance.
Oh, absolutely. And a good example of that is how I met Jose. Was he has a home listed in Realy, where my office is, and very nice home, approximately 4 years old. And that home, I looked it up on tax records, originally sold for almost $400,000. Now
Right.
It's on the market considerably less, and we're going to talk about some conditions and some other details that get into it. But it in no way, when it says HUD foreclosure on the sign, does it mean that this is a slum or there's something wrong with it. And it's this is top quality stuff. But there's some dynamics to a sale with a HUD home that we really want to talk about. And as far as, why don't we launch into the process first of all, and then we'll talk about condition and some of the other things after that.
Yeah. The process of buying a HUD home is a little different than the process of buying any other home. First off, in order to buy a HUD home, all the offers or bids are submitted electronically. So if you are a buyer and if you're looking to buy a home here in the next year or two or any time in the future, you first have to find an agent that has been HUD approved or is HUD registered. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I'm doing now, I'm going to offices, I'm training agents on how to get HUD approved, telling them to hop on the bandwagon now because we are expecting a influx of HUD homes as we move forward. So once you have an agent that is HUD approved, you could go on to various websites. One of them is www.hudpemco.com or www.hudhomestore.com. Pull up the listings. Obviously, all HUD homes also have to be listed in your local MLS. Mm-hmm. One of our responsibilities as a local listing broker is to make sure that we give those listings the widest possible exposure, and that's putting them 2, 3, 4 different MLS if need be. But anyhow, if you're looking to buy a HUD home, those are the areas or those are the websites and resources that we have available to you. If you go on HUD Home Store, there is also a link to pull up a list of registered HUD agents. Mm-hmm. You could contact any of those agents, say, I found this home in this particular region, or again, if your agent is HUD approved, he could easily pull them up off the MLS. Now, in order to submit a bid, it's all done electronically. You do submit a bid. Preference is given to owner occupants. It's very important. I've had a lot of investors call me, and I tell them, you could definitely make a bid, however, you have to wait 30 days. On a HUD home, it's very important to note that for the first 30 days that a HUD home is on the market, it's only for owner occupants. Mm-hmm. And one of the reasons for that is, with HUD homes, one of the things we want to achieve is neighborhood stabilization. And again, in the real estate industry, we know that in order to achieve neighborhood stabilization is by having owner occupants in a particular community. You know, people tend to take care of the homes better. It's just that goes without saying. So unfortunately, many of these HUD homes don't sell within the first 30 days. After that point, we open them up. Any investor could make a bid, or anybody could make a bid, including, let me just go back a little bit. During the first 30 days, not-for-profit or nonprofit organizations could also submit bids. They have to be registered through HUD, but they could also submit bids. So it's owner occupants and nonprofit community organizations.
Okay, now does that criteria, does that also include, like, say you just want to buy, you're not really an investor, but say you just want to buy a second home for an investment or make a rental out of it? Can an
Correct.
individual do that, or does that immediately put you into the investor category?
That will put you into the investor category, but it's very important to know anybody could buy a HUD home. If you know, the first 30 days, again, you're going to occupy the property. What we are telling folks is you're going to occupy the property. You have to commit to living in the property for 1 year after you buy the home, and you cannot be engaged in a HUD purchase for 2 years after that. So if you're buying a second home investment property, you'll have to wait till the 31st day, after which you could definitely submit a bid.
Okay. In your sphere of influence, or if you have the stats as far as what's going on in say here in the Valley, Madera County, Fresno County, what percentage of the HUD homes are in escrow within the first 30 days with owner occupied, or is this more of an investor, or how's this thing starting to fall out?
You know, fortunately, the homes that I've listed, and there are several local listing brokers here in Central Valley, from Tulare County to Stanislaus, which is the area that I tend to cover. We've been fortunate in getting the majority of owner occupant, owner or people who are going to occupy the property. I would say it's about, in my office, or at least with my listings, it's about a 70-30% split. 30% go to investors, 70% go to owner occupants. I'd like that number to be higher. I'd like it to be, 90-10 ideally.
Right.
Because, again, I truly believe in the whole initiative of revitalizing neighborhoods, especially neighborhoods where you just see a great amount of blight and forlorn properties. I think it benefits the economy, it benefits everyone.
Okay. Jose, are there any rules now? Say you are an investor and you purchase this home, after the 30-day exclusion period. Now, are there any rules about how soon you're able to resell that? Say you come in and you buy for cash, or you use a commercial line of credit, or something other than FHA or USDA financing. Do you have to hold that property for a specific amount of time, or can you, like 6 months later, rehab it, get a feeling for what the market's doing, and then resell it?
Well, that's a good question. With a HUD home, if you're an investor, there are no limits as to how many homes you can buy or not purchase. As far as investors looking to flip the home, I would definitely encourage the investors to go onto the HUD page, or or talk to the lender. I know that previously there was a 90-day flip rule, which there are some caveats to that flip rule, because if you're able to show that you've drastically improved the property, you could get away with selling it earlier. But going back to that, that's not really what I'm here for, is to encourage investors to buy HUD homes. I'm here to encourage homeowners who are looking to get into a home, who are looking to fulfill that American dream, to buy a home.
Well, absolutely, and once again, here's the plug for your business and mine both. Is now is the time, my friends. We have record low interest rates.
Absolutely.
This market has adjusted so much. 3 years ago, a lot of folks were just being absolutely priced out. Now you're priced in. If you're, get with a lender, find yourself a quality realtor like myself or Jose. There's our plug. And and now's the time to move, because the government, at the rate the government's printing money right now and spending money that they don't have, there is no way that interest is going to stay where it's at. I mean, it's going to have to go up.
Oh, absolutely.
And once the interest rate, and a lot of folks don't understand this, the interest rate that you pay sometimes is more important than what you pay. A lot of times people will find themselves fighting towards in a transaction over $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, and that is inconsequential if this is the home for you versus what happens if that interest rate moves 0.5% on you.
Absolutely. And Tim,
Before
just
you lock.
I want to get one more thing in on HUD homes. A few other benefits on a HUD home. Appraisals have been completed, so clients will save $400, $500, however much they are nowadays. There are property condition reports that are available. Those, and I know we have the previous guest was talking about home inspections. Property condition reports are not home inspections. We definitely encourage every buyer to get a home inspection, but you have more information available than if you were to
Sure.
go buy other homes. And again, there are special programs which I don't have time to discuss today, but there are good neighbor next door programs, which hopefully if we come in at a future date, I'll go into more detail on. But
Okay.
there are benefits to
Very
buying a
good,
home.
Jose. Matter of fact, what we want to do is I'll try to have you on next month, and we'll keep working through this process. And by then, the way the government rules keep changing, there's going to be new things to talk about. So anyway, thank you so
Okay.
much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
And we're going to take a brief commercial break, and we're going to be right back with Michael Turnipseed from the Kern County Taxpayers Association. Stand by.